is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are MC.
The Royals hook up with 22-year-old Rick Porcello tonight. Back on April 10th, Porcello lasted just 5 innings against the Royals, giving up 5 runs on 9 hits and took a loss. Game 2 with Porcello and the Tigers is next on Fox Sports Kansas City. It is a great night to be at Kauffman Stadium. It's the end of the work week. It's Buck Night. We'll have fireworks after the game, so we expect a big crowd for Game 2 between the Royals and the Detroit Tigers. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. I'm Ryan Lefevre, and it was a well-pitched game last night. The Tigers a little bit better than the Royals, and when you have good pitching, normally you're going to have good defense, and the Royals certainly had that last night.
And when you want to win close games, you need your defense to play well for you. And when you want to stay in games, your defense has to play well for you. And last night, you saw Moustakas cut out a runner at the plate. Brian Painter does an outstanding job in blocking the plate. And you see Escobar in a nice play to get the runner at second base. And there's Eric Hosmer in that scoop at first base. And this is a run-saving play by Melker Cabrera in right center field when he dove to make this fine catch.
And with Danny Duffy last night, like the stat, hate the stat, indifferent with the stat, the Royals have 4 consecutive quality starts.
And that's what they want to get to. And if you're going to win ball games, your starters have got to be the best pitchers on the field. And when the Royals get quality starts, it gives them a better opportunity to win.
So 4 consecutive games where, of course, the quality start is at least 6 innings pitched with 3 earned runs or fewer over the 6 innings. And Francis, Paulino, Chen, and Duffy have all done that. The Royals could use 5 in a row, and Kyle Davies could really use a quality start. This is an important one for him tonight after taking a loss in his first start coming back from the DL against the Colorado Rockies. We'll take a look at the lineup that he'll face when we come back. Missouri Lottery. When you play, students win. Kyle Davies has not won at Kauffman Stadium yet this year. To win tonight, he'll have to get through this batting order.
Well, Andy Dirks is replacing the injured Austin Jackson in the #1 spot, and bright player for the Tigers, Brennan Bosch, will be back in the lineup batting second.
Tigers hit 2 home runs last night, but none coming from the big bats, the big names. It was home runs from Don Kelly, who came in late in the game, and Ryan Rayburn early in the game.
And that was a big hit for the Tigers and Ryan Rayburn, and Danny Duffy pitched a great game last night, and that home run there would be the only blemish on a great night.
And his 5th home run in his last 47 at-bats against the Royals. Take a look at the Royals defensively tonight.
But defensively, the Royals are sending out the same players as last night. Brian Painter will be back behind the plate. He didn't catch Kyle Davies before he went on the disabled list, but has caught both of his starts since he's been up.
And as the weather heats up, the same goes for the Royals' veteran outfield of Melky Cabrera and Jeff Francoeur as they ride 6-game hitting streaks into tonight's game against Rick Porcello. It's the Royals and the Tigers, and the first pitch is next. Testing, testing. Hi, Frank. From beautiful Kauffman Stadium in high definition, brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Get no fee HD with digital TV from Time Warner Cable. And a look at left field and the Royals bullpen where Joel Goldberg is standing by.
And a new addition as well, but a familiar face with Danny Duffy briefly going to the minors. Ryan Everett Teaford called back up. Was told by Omaha pitching coach last night, you're going back up and I hope I don't have to see you again. He left for the airport in Oklahoma City at 5 this morning. Caught a 7 o'clock plane, got to Omaha at 10:30, packed up stuff in the apartment, packed up stuff at the park, got here at 4:15. He said he's thrilled to be back in the big leagues, plus happy to get to the cool air of Kansas City. Yeah, that's right. It was 107, he said yesterday in Oklahoma City. Guys?
Well, that's life in AAA. That's nothing big for Teaford to getting up that early and catching a flight to KC as Kyle Davies makes his 11th start. We take a look at the key report. And numbers that Kyle obviously needs to improve tonight. He is making his 2nd start since coming back from the disabled list. Took a loss on Saturday at Colorado. Gave up 7 runs, 4 were earned. However, the 3 unearned runs were a result of his error. And his first pitch is driven to deep center field. Melky can't quite bail him out. And Andy Dirks, 1 pitch into the game, is at second base.
When you're starting the game off, you want to get ahead with your fastball, but you got to be able to spot it. And this one is directly down the middle of the plate. And Andy Dirks, who doesn't play a lot, so he's going to be aggressive on that first pitch. And just did get it off the glove of Melky Cabrera in center field. Like he just got there, but the ball hit right off the heel of his glove. One of those balls you go a long way for, and you feel your feet hit the track, and you're not quite sure where you are.
And now Brennan Bosch. Both Dirks and Bosch were not in the lineup last night. Bosch has been a regular for the Tigers, but he fouled a ball off of his right knee on Tuesday in Anaheim. He had not played since, so back in there tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike against Davies. Having a very good first half, as he did last year. He had .342 in the first half last season with 12 home runs, and then really tailed off in the second half. Batted just .163 with 2 home runs. Pulls it to the right side. So the Royals get an out. The Tigers get a runner to third base. .83 degrees at Kauffman Stadium. The game started at 7:10, and the time and temp is brought to you by the Parking Spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The Parking Spot at KCA. A brilliant blue sky tonight. Not one cloud in sight. Strike over the outside to Maglio Ordonez. Told you last night, Ordonez having trouble with his right ankle. He broke that ankle last year and went on the DL this year because of problems with the ankle. And he hits that one into the Royals bullpen for his 3rd home run of the year, and the Tigers take a 2-0 lead in the first inning.
Well, you talked about Ordonez and that back foot, Ryan, and whether or not he can pivot on that back foot and get that bat speed up. But you see right here, this pitch supposed to be away, but you see it ran right back into the bat. And then Maglio Ordonez was sitting there waiting on it. It's a line drive in the left field bullpen. You see that pivot? He just really kind of picks it up. He doesn't really squish the bug, as they call it, real hard. So that injured ankle is sometimes takes away from your bat speed, especially when the ball's away from you. But that ball there.
Squish the bug?
You know, that's the term that Kevin Seitzer uses when that back foot really turns, when it really pivots, and it helps create your bat speed.
It's like you're
like
stepping on and squishing a bug.
About the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, all this new age terminology. I saw that looky game. It's like, what's he talking about?
Squish the bug.
That's that old saying, when you feel a ground ball, you put your right hand above the glove and try to keep the ball channeled into the glove, and then they came up with, oh, we'll call that the alligator. So that's, it just changed terminology, that's all.
Miguel Cabrera 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored last night. A rare hitless game for him here at Kauffman Stadium. A .376 career hitter before that, and Kyle Davies strikes him out. And Cabrera is in a slump at the moment, just 3 for his last 27. That's the second out of the inning.
When you take a look at this swing, this ball's going to be on the outside corner, still running back a little bit on the plate. And Kyle wants to get that four-seamer when he wants to throw that pitch. You don't want it to run back out over the plate, but he was able to get it by Cabrera. And when you get into a funk, no matter how good the hitter you are, you do swing and miss for a while.
And now Victor Martinez with 2 outs and nobody on. Martinez 0 for 4 last night, and just like Alex Gordon, found out he would not be going to the All-Star game. Martinez' .319 batting average is 4th best in the American League. 2 balls and no strikes. Two and one. Davies giving up a double to Andy Dirks on his first pitch tonight, and then with 1 out, Magglio Ordonez hit a 2-run home run. Tigers scored early last night with a 2-run home run. Ryan Rayburn with 2 outs in the 2nd inning. And that's hit well to left field. Alex back into the sunlight and makes the catch. Well, the Tigers get 2 in the top of the first. The Tigers take the field with the lead, and we take a look at the Royals batting order tonight.
They got Billy Bull in the 4th spot. Chris Getz continues to hit in that leadoff spot. I talked with him a little bit today, Rhino, and he said he just want to be the same guy. Bats just a little loopy on him. Just want to get back on top of the ball and get back to hitting line drive.
They'll be facing Rick Porcello for the 2nd time this year. 7-6. His ERA just a shade under 5. A strike thrower, gives up a lot of hits, doesn't walk many. He won on Sunday against the San Francisco Giants. Pretty good looking line. 3 runs, 5 hits in 7 innings, but he had 3 wild pitches and he hit 3 batters. The Royals are loaded with left-hand hitters tonight against Porcello, which is good because lefties are hitting .329 against him. Porcello, by the way, became just the 5th pitcher in the last 92 years to have 3 wild pitches and 3 hit batters in the same game. And he won.
And he got 7 innings in the game, too. I mean, you won't see that very often at all. You just said it's a rare occasion when you see that.
Chris Getz 1 for 4 last night, batting .258. And chops it off the plate. Inge was playing in, but fumbles, and Getz will be safe.
You know, that swing there was kind of typical of what Chris Getz was talking about. He said Peralta plays him up the middle, and he's manipulating his bat, trying to hit the ball in the hole over there, but he's not getting the ball solid like he wants to. And Inge comes in and just overreaches and gets the ball up near the heel of the glove and bobble it.
It is an error on Brandon Inge. And now Getz with his 15 stolen bases at first base. He was caught stealing in the first inning last night. The Royals opened the game with back-to-back hits against Max Scherzer, and then Getz taking off for third, trying to steal third, and Scherzer spinning off the mound and threw him out. And a strike to Melky Cabrera with a 6-game hitting streak, working on the best first half of his major league career. He extended that streak, going 1 for 4 last night, and he leads the Royals with 106 hits. Oh, and 2. Typically, sinker ball pitchers, and Porcello is one of those, are easier to run on because everything is down, making it more difficult for the catcher to get into a good throwing position. But Porcello appears to be pretty quick to the plate.
And I think that's another thing, too, when you're a sinker ball guy and you go quick to the plate like that. Oh, good move to first base. Sometimes your ball don't have a chance to sink. Sometimes you throw a few more pitches up than you want to throw, too, when you're trying to increase that slide step and your quickness to the plate.
One ball, 2 strikes on Melky.
Now, Porcello's done a pretty good job. He's holding the ball a long time, and then he pitches, and on that pitch right there, he just came up, got set, and went right to the plate. So he's really trying to compensate for his quickness to the plate by just doing a few more different things on the mound to kind of keep that runner from running.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Melky's done well against Porcello, 3 out of 5 before tonight. And fouls off a tough pitch down and in.
This is a pretty good pitch here by Porcello. This ball is down underneath Melky's swing, but that's an automatic trigger to left-handed hitters sometimes when they see the ball going down and in. They want to try to get to it, but that pitch might have hit him in the foot if he didn't hit the ball.
Porcello was the Tigers' first-round pick in 07. He got to the big leagues in 09. He was 20 years old, and he won 14 games for Detroit with a good ERA. In 2010, he went 10-12, and his ERA went up a full point. And now off to a 7-6 start this year with an ERA right around 5. But you can see why the Tigers' expectations were high. First of all, first-round pick, and then you win 14 games as a 20-year-old your rookie year.
And that's the year that Jim Leland promised to take care of him.
Getz is running. That's through the right side. Getz will keep on running. So Melky Cabrera comes back from 0-2. He is hit in 7 straight, and the Royals come back with runners at first and third and nobody out.
Seems like when he gets 2 strikes, he seems to concentrate a little bit better, and he gets about putting the bat on the ball. And this pitch is right over the plate and just finds a good spot on the infield. Base hit by Raven on second base, and Chris Getz running on the play makes the third base very easily.
So an error and a base hit, and 2 on for Alex Gordon. No balls, 1 strike. Alex is 1 out of 11 against Porcello, and I bring that up because Alex typically does well against sinker ball pitchers, and his swing usually works well with the sinker baller. He's got a little bit of an uppercut with a ball that's going down, and that's usually a good point of contact. Sinker going down, swing coming up, but just 1 hit in 11 at bats. One of the great examples is Fausto Carmona of the Cleveland Indians, among others, but Carmona really stands out. A good sinker ball pitcher that Alex just wears out.
Yeah, a lot of lefties are low ball hitters, and like you say, you get that little up in your swing, it makes a big difference if that ball's not sinking hard.
Melky started, stopped, and a shot into center field makes it a 2-1 game. So on an 0-2 pitch, a line drive up the middle. Porcello saw a flash. Frank?
Well, it went right by him, and as a pitcher, he doesn't want to throw for a strike. He definitely didn't want to get it out over the plate like that, being ahead in the count. So just a poor execution by Porcello, but great execution by Alex Gordon. They hit that ball with 2 strikes right back up through the box.
So an error. 2 hitters down in the count, 0-2, eventually getting base hits. And the Royals are just getting started. 2 on, nobody out. Bringing up Billy Butler, trying to bust out of an 0 for his last 8. And he takes a slider down and away. 0 for 4 last night, dropping his average down to .291. He is a .318 career hitter against Porcello. And a slider outside again. 2 balls and no strikes. Frederick Alfred Porcello out of Morristown, New Jersey. 3 balls, no strikes. You don't win 14 games as a 20-year-old in the big leagues, as he did in 09, unless there is some maturity involved, and that was something that came up quite a bit that year from the Tigers. Great mound presence, as they say, great demeanor on the mound. One of those guys that, whether he's getting hit around like he is in this inning or dominating the opposing hitters, no change in demeanor. 3 balls and 1 strike on Billy.
Well, you have to think that Justin Verlander really has, had some influence on Rick Porcello and how he goes about his game, and you can't help but have a guy like Verlander on your staff and learn from him and the way he goes about pitching. 129 pitches. He's throwing just as hard from the first pitch to the last pitch. Just competes very well.
From 3-0 to 3-2. That's the part of having a true ace, top of the line starter like a Justin Verlander. First of all, he's going to help the team every time he takes the mound, but then how much does he help the team just by everybody watching him and the effect that has on somebody like Porcello when he takes the mound?
Well, if you got a guy like Justin Verlander on the mound and you're a pitcher and don't watch, then you shouldn't be here, because he teaches you something every inning he goes out there.
When Verlander would pitch against the Royals and Zach Greinke was here, even Greinke would admit that he would pay attention to Justin Verlander. Royals will see him on Sunday. That means he is not eligible to pitch in the All-Star game. He will still go nonetheless, but Verlander is 11-4. Runners go. Billy strikes out, and it's a double steal. So the same effect as a sacrifice bunt, an out, and the runners move up.
Well, you're right, Ryan. You're going with no outs in this situation here. You always think about the dreaded triple play, but Cabrera got a great jump and made it into third base just ahead of the throw.
For Melky, his 12th stolen base. For Alex, his 6th. And 2 in scoring position for Eric Hosmer. Hosmer scored the Royals' only run last night with a leadoff double. That was in the 5th inning against Max Scherzer, and came around to score on an RBI ground out from Mike Moustakas. Ball 1 in the dirt. Royals are facing Rick Porcello for the 9th time. Eric Hosmer for the 1st time. Got it in on the hands. 1 ball, 1 strike. I've been asking young players past few years about when their swing is right, where are they hitting the ball? And I think when you played, and even after that, a power guy like Eric Hosmer, he'd say, when I'm hitting the ball well, it's going deep to right field or right center. It's interesting how more and more these days, and Hosmer confirmed it with me earlier today, when he's hitting the ball well, he's hitting the ball to left center field. Do you think hitters are more complete these days than back in the days when you played?
It had to be hitting philosophy. We were always taught to hit the ball out front, so it was very rare that you see an opposite field home run when I was playing. But now with hitting coaches teaching more, stand inside the ball, let the ball travel longer, and try to drive the ball in the alleys, and then that really makes you stay on the ball a little bit longer, and I can see where there's a strong benefit there.
Change up, and it's 2-2 on Hosmer. I can't say I was surprised when he said that. I mean, just a couple of days ago, we were talking about Mike Moustakas, who hit 36 home runs last year. He said the same thing. He's gap to gap when he's right. But Hosmer didn't use gap to gap. I mean, he specifically said left center field.
Well, one thing about staying in left center field is when the ball's inside and you react to it, then you got a better chance of keeping the ball fair than hitting it down the right field line foul. So your focus is always out there in hopes that you can keep the ball down the line fair.
And he said the same thing, that when he's trying to pull a ball that just causes him to be long. You've talked about that so often.
But he has a knack of sometimes his midsection will open up, his hips open up early, but his upper body stays back and still allows him to drive the ball the other way.
He will walk with 1 out. Well, it's a long inning for Porcello. He had a 2-0 lead before he even got comfortable with the mound. This is new pitching coach Jeff Jones. The Tigers 5 days ago fired pitching coach Rick Knapp. Jeff Jones, who was the bullpen coach, has taken over as pitching coach. Coming up on Tuesday, baseball's biggest stars will gather together in the Arizona desert for one spectacular night in the summer's biggest event, as Fox brings you every thrilling moment of the All-Star Game. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. only on Fox. And don't forget, you can see a special world premiere sneak preview of the upcoming Fox show, The X Factor, during the broadcast. So an error, 2 singles, 1 driving and a run, and now a walk. And here's the Royals' leading RBI man, Jeff Francoeur, with the bases loaded, 1 out. Good pitch, slider at the knees, 0-1. 2 hits and a stolen base for Francoeur last night. He has hit in 6 games in a row.
This is where Porcello wants to keep the ball down. He wants to try to get a ground ball in this situation.
Pitch was down, and somehow Francoeur was able to elevate it as he fouls it away. No balls, 2 strikes. Francoeur has grounded into 11 double plays this year. So trying to avoid that here against Porcello, who, when he is right, he is getting ground balls. The only ground ball he has gotten so far tonight was boxed around for an error. A 30-pitch bottom of the 1st inning. And he gets it into right center field. Ordonez coming over, and he will play it to third. The Royals tie the game. Francoeur with his league-leading 9th sacrifice fly and his team-leading 56th RBI.
It really wasn't an easy pitch for him to handle. He was able to get the bat on it and get it deep enough in right center field to bring Cabrera home. But you can see where this pitch is, down and away, and And he stretched as far as he can stretch to get enough bat on this ball to get it out there deep enough. And you can see the good tag at third base, and Cabrera scores easily on that ball. It's just amazing how you can be thinking one way, the ball's out there, and he have enough bat speed and enough strength to get the ball out there that far.
Now a ground ball up the middle, and it leads Peralta to the bag. Mike Moustakas is out, but the Royals come right back, and they get 2 in the bottom of the first. To you by AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. By Panera Bread. Order online at PaneraKansas.com. And by Chevy. See your Kansas City area Chevy dealers. Tigers with 2 on a Maglio Ordonez home run. The Royals with 2 unearned runs. An error charge to Brandon Inge. Alex Gordon and Jeff Francoeur driving in runs to pick up Kyle Davies. So we're back to even as Davies takes the mound in the second to face Johnny Peralta, Alex Avila, and Ryan Rayburn.
Well, Kyle Davies has new life. He's back in the ball game, and let's see if he can take off from here.
Really had difficulty against the Rockies on Saturday just getting the ball down. Gave up 1 run in the first and then 6 in the second. 3 of the runs were unearned, but it was his error, which brings up the great debate. If a pitcher commits the error, should those runs still be considered unearned? What do you think?
Well, once he releases the ball, he becomes a fielder, and he's just like any other infielder making a mistake in that situation. But I think that you look at pitchers and ground balls that hit back to them when they don't make the play, then they give base hits. So it's hard for the pitcher's got to work pretty hard to get an error.
Well, and what you just described is why they are still considered unearned runs, and it's the pitcher's argument of why they should be unearned runs. I've always felt, though, the difference between earned runs and unearned runs was to protect the pitcher. And you'd say, well, it's not his fault. Somebody committed an error. But what if it is his fault?
Good point. Good point. They got their cake and eat it too. Huh? Well, it's one of those things where you people have some pitchers and they expect you to catch everything. But when they don't catch it, well, I'm the pitcher.
3 balls and 2 strikes to Peralta.
Well, I tell you, as a middle infielder, it really helps you when you have a pitcher on the mound that knows how to field, and playing behind Larry Gura and Brett Saberhagen, they can really make your job a lot easier.
Alex hustling over into left center field, but can't catch up to the Peralta line drive. Didn't sound like he got it solid, but hard enough for a leadoff base hit. Coming up tomorrow, Game 3 with the Tigers. We hope that you'll come out and celebrate 100 years of Buck O'Neil. It's a 6-10 game with the Tigers, and the first 20,000 fans receive a Monarchs pennant presented by Sprint. So get to Kauffman Stadium early for the Buck O'Neil Centennial Celebration. We already have our Monarchs pennant proudly displayed here in the booth. Alex Avila going to the All-Star game. 287 with 10 home runs in the first half. But at the moment, 0 hits in his last 11 at-bats. Two balls and no strikes. Here are the starters. So Avila will be back of the plate. 3 other Tigers will be going to the All-Star game. Pitchers Jose Valverde, Justin Verlander, and Miguel Cabrera, but Avila is the only starter. Not bad for a guy who, not long ago, as a senior in college, became a catcher. Not a position he has been playing since Little League. And now you can call him an all-star catcher.
He's another guy who's got a great attitude. Every time you see him, he's got a big smile on his face, and he's really come out of Double-A, and he really had a nice little transition with the Tigers into the big leagues, and he's really come into his own this year.
Really a neat story. His father, Al, has been a longtime front office executive for the Tigers. Alex grew up in Florida. His high school and Eric Hosmer's high school were rival high schools. He then went to the University of Alabama. He was a corner infielder and a DH until his senior season, and that's when the Tigers took him in the 5th round. So after the single, a walk. Davies first tonight, and back in trouble with 2 on and nobody out. And that brings up Ryan Rayburn. When he batted in the 2nd inning last night, was hitting .205. He had the 6th most strikeouts in the league. He was just 1 for 10 against the Royals this year, but he had a 2-run home run. Outside, ball 1. Seen quite a few Tigers move through second base the past couple of years, with Carlos Guillen out with the microfracture surgery on his knee, which takes a long time to heal. So Scott Sizemore, who's now with the A's, Will Rhymes, Rayburn, Ramon Santiago. We saw him last night at second base. Carlos Guillen has started his rehab games. The Tigers are hoping to see him after the All-Star break.
Well, he's really had a hard time staying healthy. Every time it looks like he's off to a great start, something happens, and just hadn't been very dependable to the ball club.
Guillen on the disabled list 3 times last year and once in 2009. And has not played a game in the big leagues this year. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I think with Ryan Raven, Jim Leland understands that he's not going to have the range at second base that he wants to see, so he'd rather go with a guy that's got a little pop in his bat and may help the offense rather than bring in a guy who's not swinging the bat well just to catch the ball.
Two and two. First pitch that Kyle Davies threw tonight. Andy Dirks doubled to center field. And then with 1 out, Maglio Ordonez homered. Kyle retired the next 2. The Royals tied the game in the bottom of the 1st. And now greeted with a single and a walk to begin the 2nd. And that's lined to right field. Holding at third is Peralta with Frank Coor's arm. Bases loaded, nobody out.
I think the one thing that Cal Davis is going to have to do, Ryan, is he's got to start pitching inside a little bit more. You live on the outside, and basically you just take the hitter right out there with you. And Ryan Raymond just stayed with that slider and just hit it like he was looking for it. I mean, if you pitch inside a little bit, now you got him to reach for that pitch. You have a different result.
You know, we've been saying this ever since Kyle Davies got here in 07. He has, quote, good stuff, and that refers to velocity and movement. So some of his pitches would be considered above average as far as stuff goes. Moustakas into foul ground. It's been a tough night for Brandon Inge. Committed an error that led to 2 unearned runs in the bottom of the first, and now he pops up with the bases loaded. But, you know, Kyle, with his velocity and his movement, you get the feeling that the hitters are a little too comfortable at the plate.
I know they are. When you go to that outside corner like that repeatedly and drag those hitters out there, and they hitting line drives to right field on a slider that they shouldn't really hit, then it tells you got to set the pitch up better. The first pitch leads to the second pitch, and you got to have an idea that each pitch has a different meaning. I mean, the lefties, if you watch the game, you're seeing the running fastball. No four seamers inside to keep the hitter honest, and it's the same fastball. Everything runs, and they just track it with the bat.
And now a ground ball to Getz to Escobar. No double play. A good hard slide by Rayburn. It would have been a tough double play anyway. Andy Dirks runs well. The Royals came close to bailing Davies out of the second inning, but Peralta scores, and it's 3-2 Detroit.
You see Dirks hits his ball right back over the mound. Cal Davis just does miss it. Guess does a good job getting it to Escobar, but Rayburn on a slow hit ball and being the bases loaded had a great jump and really just upset Escobar's ability to turn this double play.
So Dirks, who is born in Hutchinson, Kansas, gets the RBI to put Detroit back out in front. And now a dangerous hitter in Brennan Bosch. Notorious for swinging at the first pitch in an at-bat, so the Royals give him an unhittable pitch. He grounded out to Hosmer in the first inning. And grounds it back to Davies. So the Tigers regain the lead, but they had the bases loaded with nobody out, and they get one. Go to the bottom of the second inning, and joining us in the booth is our good buddy, one of the nicest guys in Kansas City, Negro Leagues Baseball Museum President Bob Kendrick, who is always the best dressed guy in the stadium, isn't he, Frank?
Always,
huh?
Always. He doesn't have his hat on, but he'll have a hat. Oh, let me see. Oh, it's over there.
Okay. He could borrow the Smooth nickname every now and then, couldn't he?
Every day.
Right?
Every day.
Well, let's get right to it, Bob. Are you satisfied with what the Royals are doing for the museum and Buck O'Neil tomorrow?
Well, you know, it is a tremendous honor what they're doing to remember our dear friend and beloved John Buck O'Neil. And so, you know, we're really pleased with the fact that this is such a big year. Buck's centennial celebration is something that is really important. This is going to jumpstart a series of programs and activities and fundraising events built around this centennial celebration. And so now we're very, very pleased with what the club has done. And, you know, we have a wonderful partnership. And we're excited about the future of those working relationships. And, you know, with the All-Star game coming, we've been having some great talks about things that we could potentially do to help put the museum really on a world spotlight, to give it a world spotlight. And so we're really, really pleased.
Bob, can you tell us some of the things that going forward, like in the fall, to celebrate the 100 years?
Well, you know, the big birthday party is planned for Saturday, November the 12th. And it is going to be a big bash. And, you know, we're very, very proud to have the Honorable Mayor Sly James and his wife, Lisa, who have joined us as honorary co-chairs, U.S. Congressman Emmanuel Cleaver II, who is also, he and Diane have joined us as honorary co-chairs. And so, you know, we're laying the groundwork for what's going to be a substantial citywide celebration. You know, we don't want it to be the Negro Leagues Museum just celebrating Buck. And so with the Royals jump-starting this effort, and then on October 6th, we'll open a brand new exhibit on the life of Buck called Right on Time. It chronicles his illustrious career, you know, from the grandson of a slave to a man who eventually wined and dined with presidents of the United States. And so, you know, it is it's a wonderful way to look back, a reflective look back at this man's wonderful life and everything that he gave. You know, I tell people all the time, you know, I don't know anyone who gave more to our city than Buck O'Neil. Now, there may be others who gave just as much, but there's no one who gave any more to this great city of ours than Buck O'Neil. And so we think that his centennial celebration is something that deserves to be celebrated.
Does it take away from the celebration that the two teams won't be wearing the uniforms tomorrow?
Well, I don't know if it takes away from the celebration. You know, certainly now I'd be lying if I didn't say that it was always something that we took great pride in when we saw those major league athletes in those uniforms. But, you know, I don't think that it takes away from what we're trying to do with this particular celebration. You know, and so, you know, that's the thing when you have tradition. And the Royals created a wonderful tradition of the guys paying homage to the Negro Leagues by wearing the uniforms.
Were the Royals the first to do that?
I believe they were actually the first in the major leagues to do it. And it made sense. I mean, this was the home of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, the birthplace of the Negro Leagues. And so what the club has done through the years has been tremendous in terms of elevating the awareness of the Negro Leagues. And, you know, obviously all the guys took great pride in seeing those young athletes wearing those uniforms and seeing them wearing the pants up high, you know, that kind of thing. And
I wore those a few years ago.
So sentimentally, yeah, we'll miss that, but you know, it doesn't detract from what is still going to be a great celebration.
And it's the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum for all of baseball. The Royals, as you pointed out, in this city has a special connection with it, but for the museum to survive, the museum needs the help of all 30 teams, right?
Oh, no question. We need the help of the institution, Major League Baseball. We need the support of all the Major League teams, and we need the support of its players. You know, that is something that is vitally important to the long-term success of this organization.
Well, thanks for stopping by. We're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow.
Looking forward to it.
All right, Bob. Bob Kendrick, president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, 3-2 Tigers. Royals baseball is brought to you by Sprint. And tonight's You Call It question. We ask you, what is the most unusual entrance into a game from the bullpen? We saw Heath Bell on the last road trip. Phil Koch last night for the Tigers, sprinting in. Jose Valverde spitting in. And then the Cirque du Soleil guy in San Diego. This was his first pitch. Or right before his first pitch.
It was amazing how many guys were standing around watching that first pitch.
There you go.
Oh, my goodness.
And then he threw a strike. Watch this. Watch the pitch, though.
Oh, man, I'd have been dizzy. I probably ended it right on my belly with the wind knocked out of me trying to make that spin.
Valverde getting the save last night. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Maglio Ordonez. So there are your 4 options in our Sprint You Call It question for tonight. Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals followed by a space. A for Heath Bell, B for Phil Koch, C for Jose Valverde, and D for the Cirque du Soleil guy. We think his name is Walter. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Valverde can afford to kick back this early in the game. Kyle Davies with a leadoff walk to Maglio Ordonez, so the leadoff man on in each of the first 3 innings for the Tigers. If you send in a text, you will get a bounce back text message, which will tell you how you can enter to win a suite here at Kauffman Stadium for you and 11 guests. So Ordonez at first, and now Cabrera and Martinez coming up. And that's drilled to left center field deep. Back goes Alex Gordon, and it's off the screen in front of the scoreboard. Second and third, nobody out. Miguel Cabrera struck out swinging in the first inning by a fastball, and it appeared that he was not ready for a fastball, but he was ready for the first pitch this time around.
Well, he got that cutter, and it stayed in that 89-mile-an-hour cutter that he was able to get down in the zone and not over the plate, and he was sitting there waiting on it. So that's not where Kyle Davies wanted that pitch.
And now Victor Martinez, and Kyle got him for the final out of the first inning, but it was a fly ball to deep left field. Martinez 0 for his last 7. Coming right at him with a fastball.
That was a really good pitch by Davies right there. He got that pitch in on him a little bit and kind of tied him up. And I just think he needs to do a little bit more of that and try to establish how he wants to get the guys out. If he wants to get them out away, then you got to pitch inside to set that pitch up. So you got to go back to making one pitch mean something to the next pitch.
One ball, 1 strike. This is the previous foul ball. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
My goodness. And the fella she's with is just in shock.
He said it should have been me.
Yeah. Don't worry, honey. I still love you, she's saying.
You didn't protect me, but I got it.
Hate to bring this up, but gosh, what a tragedy in Texas yesterday.
Yes.
My goodness.
I couldn't believe it.
it's good to see a foul ball or a souvenir being celebrated. I mean, just feel so badly for that little boy and the family, and you wonder how Josh Hamilton is taking it.
It's got to be tough. I mean, you definitely, it's not your intention. You want to be nice and give fans baseballs, and when something like that happens, it just takes all the steam out of you as a player, because you thought you were doing something good, and now you just it's a total letdown.
And if you haven't heard the story in Texas yesterday, Josh Hamilton in left field throwing a foul ball into the stands, and a 39-year-old father trying to catch it for his 6-year-old son fell over the railing and died. A firefighter from a town in Texas about 3 hours away from Arlington had driven up to the game with his son, and gosh, you just can't think of anything worse happening at a baseball game. There's a father and a son at a game, and a father trying to get a souvenir and create a lasting memory for his son. And there's Josh Hamilton, the player who has gone through so much to get to the big leagues, trying to provide that moment for a father and his son. And man, this will get a run home, and Getz throws out Victor Martinez. So the leadoff man on in all 3 innings for the Tigers, and that leadoff man coming around to score. Royals Baseball is brought to you by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. And by the State of Missouri Tobacco Quit Line. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. So the Tigers with a 4-2 lead. They've scored in each of the first 3 innings. And Johnny Peralta with a line drive right on the line. So the Tigers will get their 5th run. Peralta slides in with an RBI double, so he's 2 for 2. And now Kyle Davies begins to hear it from the fans here at Kauffman Stadium. So 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the third for Detroit.
I just missed location right here. This pitch will be a fastball on the outer half. It ran back into the middle of the plate, and Peralta was able to get it just inside the line, down the left field line. Alex does a great job getting over to this ball and getting back in the second, but Cabrera scores easily.
So as Bob McClure goes out to the mound, we'll update our Sprint You Call It question. The most unusual entrance to the game from the bullpen. Heath Bell in San Diego. Phil Koch, who came sprinting in last night for the Tigers. Jose Valverde with 3 spits of water before doing that. And then Walter. No surprise. 49% going with the Cirque du Soleil guy. So Bob McClure going out and telling Kyle Davies that they're going to walk Alex Avila, setting up the possibility of a ground ball and a double play. And Nate Adcock is throwing in the Royals bullpen with 1 out in the 3rd inning. So this will be the 2nd walk for Avila, reaching the traditional way in the 2nd inning. And now 2 on for Ryan Rayburn.
Yeah, Rayburn went out and hit a slider in the right field for a base hit his last at bat. So see if Kyle tries to pitch him any differently in this situation. Just trying to create a ground ball to get himself out of trouble.
Well, as we were talking about last inning, Kyle trying to work the outside part of the plate, and Rayburn really seemed to pick up on that, and his base hit was to right field. So we'll see if the Royals pitch him differently this time around. Starts him off with a curveball for a strike. A slide step. The curveball is blocked by Pena, and it's 1-1.
That's one of the things you worry about. You don't really want to go with a slide step in this situation with Peralta on second base, and you're rushing everything, and you bury the ball in the dirt. So right in this situation here, you're trying to create a ground ball by. I would think the changeup might be a good pitch to get a ground ball, get Rayburn out front a little bit.
And a hard fastball away. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, good four-seamer. This fastball just stayed straight on the outside corner. Didn't run back on the plate, and proved to be a good pitch from Kyle Davis.
Came up and it got Rayburn in the face, or at least under the helmet.
Yeah, that's that breaking ball going away, and you roll over the top of it, and it just bounces straight back up into the hitter. Well, he's pretty fortunate right there.
When you say Ryan Rayburn is pretty fortunate, you go back to his most serious injury. Drafted by the Tigers in '99, and then during the 2002 offseason, he was involved in an ATV accident which almost ended his career. Dislocated left hip, 2 broken bones in his left leg, and a broken collarbone. And the doctors weren't sure if he would play again. As it turned out, he was in the big leagues 2 years later. Just missed high and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So a little foul ball off the bill of the helmet isn't going to shake up Ryan Rayburn after what he's been through.
Not after that, you're right. And every pitch to Rayburn in this at bat has been on the outside corner, whether it be the fastball, whether it be the breaking ball. And that pitch that he fouled off, that was a pretty good slider, the one that you normally get a strikeout on, but you stay in the same quadrant, and you take the hitters out there with you.
There's a pitch that was inside and fouled away by Rayburn.
You take a look at the Fox tracks and look at the first 6 pitches and where they were, and then the number 7 pitch is the one inside that tied him up.
Been able to keep the ball out of the center of Fox tracks. He went too far, and Kyle strikes him out.
Well, I won't say that. I'm not going to be smart enough to say the fastball inside created that strikeout, but that's the one time he went inside and went back with the slider away that Rayburn took a bad swing at. Now, this is a better pitch to swing at than the one he fouled off of his helmet, but by throwing it inside, now you create some doubt in the hitter.
So 2 on 2 out, and now Brandon Inge. Cut fastball for a strike. Inge, with the bases loaded and nobody out, last inning fouled out to third, and the Tigers only got 1 run out of it. In the bottom of the first inning at third base, Inge committed an error on a ground ball from Chris Getz, which led to 2 unearned runs. So to sum it up, it's been a bad start to the evening for Brandon Inge, who also happens to be 0 for his last 11. He has Peralta at second base, who has driven in a run with a double, and Avila at first. Lays off the breaking ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. cutter again, evens the count at 2-2.
When I look at Brandon Inge, who's a real good fastball hitter, and I see that he's 188 with only one home run, you wonder, what happened to his swing. I mean, this guy, I've seen him turn some fastballs around above the belt, but this year so far, he just hasn't been able to get on track.
Grounds it to Moustakas. He'll run to the bag for the force. The Tigers at 2 in the third inning, and they lead by 3. Will the real Ron Bryant please raise your hand? Thank you. Ron and Mary have been lifelong missionaries, helping various people in need, including prisoners in Mexico, as well as founding more than 300 Bible schools in Nicaragua. They're back in Kansas City to work with Missions International to collect and donate food to numerous food banks in Kansas City. And tonight, they are enjoying the game from the Buck O'Neil Legacy seat. Royals down by 3. They were down 2-0 before they even came to the plate for the first time tonight, but scored 2 against Rick Porcello, making full use of an error committed by Brandon Inge at third. And then Porcello striking out the side in the second inning. 1-2 on Melky. Singled, stole a base, and scored against Porcello in the first. Melky has hit in 7 straight games. Still 1-2.
This swing gets so much shorter with 2 strikes, and his body gets out of the way, and he just uses his hands, and the ball really jumped off his bat when he uses that short, compact swing.
And stroke to right field. It'll drop in front of Ordonez. Before Melky's single in the first, he was down 0-2. He got the count to 3-2. And then this base hit comes with the count 1 ball, 2 strikes. And he wants a piece of Miguel Cabrera.
Well, you see Avila wants to get well inside. He's off really behind the back leg of Cabrera. This ball just didn't go down and in like he wanted it to, and he was sitting there waiting on it.
Early in the game yesterday, Melky reached with a base hit and went chest to chest with Miguel Cabrera. Alex Gordon drove in the Royals' first run in the first, and he singled with the count 0 balls 2 strikes, his 47th RBI of the year. Porcello misses down and away, 1 ball 1 strike. mentioning before he singled that it was a bit of a surprise that he's just 1 for 11 against Porcello. Figured Porcello's style of pitching is perfect for Alex's swing, and he promptly hit a line drive that sailed right past Porcello's eyes.
Yeah, it's all about location, and when you get two strikes, no balls on the hitter, you don't want that next ball right down the middle of the plate. You want to throw a pitch that's questionable and maybe get him a chase, but you know that's what pitching coaches go nuts when you get ahead of a hitter, 2 strikes, and throw a pitch down the middle and give up a base hit.
And Alex rolls it to the right side, so he's 2 for 2 tonight. Melky stops at second, 2 on, nobody out.
Well, Alex takes advantage of the big hole over there. There's a sinker going down and away, and he pulls it back. He stays back, stays through it. Hands roll after contact, and just got it in the hole between. This big hole between first and second right there. It's all it hits there every day if anybody can hit the ball in that spot, and Alex was able to make it.
Tonight is carsoup.com email the booth night, so go to carsoup.com/Royals. Once you're there, you'll be asked for your zip code. Fill that in. You'll be transferred to a different page where you can submit your question, and Joe Goldberg will be joining us tonight to go over some of those questions. So the Royals trying to hang in there as the Tigers have scored in all 3 innings against Kyle Davies. Pitching coach Jeff Jones out to chat with Porcello before he pitches to Billy. And Butler struck out in the first inning. Fastball for a strike. He started Billy off with sliders in the first inning, so changing the pattern this time around.
Well, that's true, and Billy's looking for a long ball. He hadn't had one in quite a while. You have to go all the way back to June 23rd. That's a span of 72 at-bats without a home run.
No balls and 2 strikes. If I didn't know any better, I might suggest that was kind of a subtle prediction on your part.
Very subtle. I'm not as good as you, but I will take it right here. You know, sometimes in certain situations when the 0-2 counts, it's pretty difficult to look to try to hit the ball out of the ballpark unless Porcello makes a big mistake. But when you go 2-0 and 3-1, those are situations where you look to do something a lot different with the bat rather than trying to hit a single. That's when you're actually trying to hit a double or a triple or a home run.
Still 1-2. Well, the Tigers are concerned enough. They are working in the bullpen. Adam Wilk begins to throw. 2 runs for the Royals in the first inning, both unearned. And then remember, Porcello came back and struck out the side in the second. But in trouble in the third. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. We were telling you when Jeff Jones went to the mound in the first inning that the Tigers made a change with their coaching staff. Rick Knapp was let go about 5 days ago. So Jeff Jones coming in from the bullpen and taking over as the Tigers bullpen coach is Mike Rojas, the son of former Royal Cookie Rojas. And there he is on the phone getting instructions from the dugout. A ground ball left side is through. Here comes Melky around third base. The throw will go to the cutout man, and it is 5-3.
Well, Billy didn't hit it hard, just hit it in the right spot. And he got a lot of top spin on this ball, and You see hits down on top of it, and the ball hit the second bounce, got through between Inge and Peralta at shortstop. This next bounce here really takes off and got himself an RBI if we see Cabrera score on his base hit to left field.
Still nobody out. Eric Hosmer takes low ball one. So no matter what happens to Rick Porcello tonight, I'm sure at some point after the game he will talk about all of the hits that he's given up tonight with 2 strikes. There's a broken bat, a grounder to Rayburn. Out at second base, Peralta taken out by Billy Butler. He didn't get anything on the throw, and that prevents a double play.
It almost looks like when he went to throw, he didn't pick that lead foot up high enough and tripped himself from just looking from the naked eye. Billy goes in hard, but then he goes over there, and that left foot, he just didn't get it stretched out far enough. And
from my angle, I saw Billy in front of Peralta.
He's fortunate this ball didn't go in the stands when he went to throw that. He didn't get that lead foot. He didn't get it stretched out far enough to make a good throw.
Well, thanks, Frank. Thanks for showing that replay. I like the version better where Billy was taking Peralta out at second base with a good slide.
I do too. He went down awkwardly though. I mean, normally you don't fall the way he fell. I mean, it's like that foot didn't get out there and he just went straight forward, and that's an awkward fall there. So hopefully he's okay.
No balls and 2 strikes on Francoeur, who had a sacrifice fly in the first inning, his 56th RBI of the year, and his 9th sacrifice fly of the season. That leads the American League. Still 0-2. In the first inning, Melky Cabrera was down 0-2, got the count to 3-2, and singled. Alex Gordon was down 0-2, singled with an RBI. In this inning, Melky Cabrera behind 1-2 against Porcello, singled. Billy Butler down 1-2, singled with an RBI. So Porcello in the first and third innings getting ahead, just not putting the hitters away, and he misses high and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Stayed out over the plate, and this won't be deep enough. Gerard Dyson, unfortunately, is in AAA. Alex Gordon bluffing a tag coming down from third. So runners at the corners and 2 down. So Mike Moustakas comes to the plate to the sounds of Jimi Hendrix and Voodoo Child. Jimi Hendrix, he died in '69, didn't he? That sound right?
In that area.
Mike Moustakas was born in 1988.
Good music.
Porcello is outside, ball 1. Moustakas rolled into a force out that ended the bottom of the first inning. Now trying to break out of an 0 for his last 18. One ball, 1 strike. Kevin Shank with exhaustive research saying that Jimi Hendrix died in 1970. Mike Moustakas born 18 years after that. I can't think of anybody else in the league that comes to the plate to Jimi Hendrix.
No, he's all by himself.
That's a guy who knows his music.
Yeah, I mean, that Jimi Hendrix version of the Star Spangled Banner was pretty awesome.
One ball, two strikes. And the way things are going for the Royals against Porcello, maybe that's right where a hitter wants to be, down in the count. One ball, two strikes. Still 1-2. Rick Porcello got off to a slow start. His ERA after 3 starts was 6.19. By his 8th start, it was 3.08. So he really pulled it together. But then by his 15th start, it was back up over 5. So he's been all over the map in the first half. Moustakas hits a pop-up, runs into foul ground, and that's the end of the inning. So the Royals get 1 to make it 5-3 at the end of 3. Runs have been scored in 3 innings. The wideband internet pitch speeds brought to you by Time Warner Cable, up to 50 megabits per second of pure online power. So that's where Porcello and Davies are with the radar gun tonight. Coming up Sunday, it's Kids Fest at Kauffman Stadium. Special appearances from SpongeBob SquarePants and Dora the Explorer of Nickelodeon. First 8,000 fans aged 14 and under receive a Royals superhero cape, presented by USA or US Toy. That's a final game before the All-Star break. Royals will be going up against Justin Verlander on Sunday. Jeff Francis will pitch for the Royals. Sunday at 1:10. 2-0 on Andy Dirks. Born in Hutchinson, Kansas, grew up in the small town of Burton. He is out of Haven High School, then Hutchinson Community College for a couple of years, and then Wichita State, where he was drafted by the Tigers in 08. He doubled to center field on the first pitch of the game, and this time he drives Melky to the warning track. And for the first time tonight, Kyle Davies retires the leadoff man. Ryan Pena goes out there and says, hey, let's build on that.
The thing about Dirks, he attacks that fastball.
Brennan Bosch has grounded out twice. Kyle hangs a curveball high. One ball, one strike. Tigers winning last night 3-1, and they have the best record against the division of any team in the American League Central. Alex makes the play in left field, so 2 outs in the 4th inning. Tigers are 16-7 against the Central Division.
Hey, take a look at Alex on this fly ball. It looked like the ball came back on him toward the. He thinks he's going to catch it out in front of him, and all of a sudden the ball moves back, and he's catching it actually behind him in that situation. They had to get his face out of the way.
And now Maglio Ordonez up the middle, gets it in between Escobar and Getz. Ordonez with a home run, a walk, and now a single. And we'll take a look at tonight's league leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. Most games played in the American League. 2 out of 3, 2 out of 4 playing tonight. 3 out of 4 are here at Kauffman Stadium. Austin Jackson, they say, done through the All-Star break. Soreness in his left wrist. Took him out of the game early last night and not expected to play in the rest of the series. Two and 0 on Cabrera. Out in front of the mound. And for the first time tonight, Kyle Davies has a scoreless inning. Greatness moment later in tonight's game. Of the 4th with Brian Pena, Alcides Escobar, and Chris Getz against Rick Porcello. And a strike to Bryan. He struck out in the second inning.
I talked to Bryan before the game and asked him what he was doing different at the plate, and he said basically he's trying to be a little more patient, but being aggressive in being patient and get deep counts and work himself into a better hitting count before he swings the bat.
Still no balls, 2 strikes. 2 hits for Bryan last night in 3 at-bats. Still 1-2. Shallow right center field, and Maglio Ordonez. One down here in the 4th. Royals in Fox Sports Kansas City present our second University Day game with KU night at Kauffman Stadium on July 23rd. All Jayhawk fans are invited to take advantage of special ticket prices and join us for special pregame activities. Go to Royals.com/KU for more information. Presented by the TV home of the Big 12, Fox Sports Kansas City. Two bounces out to Ryan Rayburn, and Alcides Escobar is 0 for 2. And now Chris Getz.
I was talking to Chris before the game, and he said Peralta plays him up the middle, and he gets in trouble because he's trying to manipulate the bat to try to hit the ball, regular shortstop hole, and that's something he hasn't been able to do. And you can see right there how he manipulated the swing. Wow.
He just can't quite manipulate the first base umpire. Doug Sisson has to drag him out of there. He gets in the game, and it didn't work. Getz is thrown out of the game after he was thrown out by Peralta. I don't know if we've seen that emotion from Chris Getz since he's become a Royal. Chris Getz called out at first base by umpire Tom Hallion. Very close. Maybe Getz barely beat the throw. It wasn't obvious, and Getz vehement in his argument with Tom Hallion, who told him to hit the showers.
Well, like you said, Ryan, that's the most emotion we've seen from Chris Getz this year, but it shows you how hard he's playing and how hard he's running down the line. But when you look at the replay, if he hits that base with the front of his toe, then it's a little more easier play to call for the umpire. But when you set that whole foot down, it's still a close play. And Chris Getz, for him to argue, he had to feel like he was safe.
So Wilson Betemit takes over at second base. Betemit with the Royals has been mostly a third baseman and a first baseman, but he came up through the Braves system as a shortstop. 2 strikes on Victor Martinez, 0 for 2. He does have an RBI with a ground out. One ball, 2 strikes. Tigers scored all 5 of their runs in the first 3 innings, and then Kyle Davies pitched a scoreless 4th.
Well, normally when you don't start a game, Ryan, you're sitting on the bench, and usually about after the 5th inning, you start thinking about getting in the game, either a pinch hit or whatever it might be. Wilson Betemit, he was probably sitting there just relaxing and watching the game, and now he finds himself in the game. Martinez 0 for his last 8. And down he goes. So Davies strikes out his 3rd. Second straight inning, he's gotten the leadoff man. The leadoff man reached in the first 3 innings, and all came around to score. Ball is inside to Johnny Peralta. 2 hits, a single, and a run scored, a double with an RBI. One and one. Yeah, it's tough on hitters when the pitch is away and they hit around it, and that spin on the ball comes back down on top of the foot. That is probably the worst feeling you can have as a hitter, is hit the ball right off the top of your foot.
Two balls and 1 strike. Line to center field, but Melky Cabrera is there. So Davies has retired 7 of the last 8. 2 down in the 5th inning. Royals tailgaters become a parking lot legend by entering the Ultimate Royals Tailgate Sweepstakes. A lucky winner will receive a tailgate for up to 30, catered by Jack Stack Barbecue. Royals game tickets for the entire group, an exclusive DJ, a special visit from Slugger, and much more. Enter today at Royals.com/ultimate tailgate. Alex Avila has walked twice, intentionally walked in the 3rd inning. Still 0 for his last 11. And that puts an end to that. Got a breaking ball that stayed out over the plate, and he's going to test Melky Cabrera. Bad idea. 22nd outfield assist for the Royals this year. Another outfield assist for the final out of the top of the 5th.
Outstanding play right there, Rhino. He goes over and sets his feet, gets everything into this throw, and just a nice one-hop throw to Escobar. Just everything worked perfectly.
So the Royals with 11 more outfield assists than they had all of last year. It's Melky's 9th. He's 2 for 2 at the plate, with 2 runs scored against Rick Porcello. Alex Gordon and Billy Butler to follow. Oh, and 2. Porcello gets him this time, only needs 3 pitches to strike him out, and that's 5 for Porcello. And we'll look at tonight's AT&T trivia question. Derek Jeter 2 hits away from 3,000, and we'll do it with just one team, who are the 5 American League players in the 3,000 hit club that played for only one team. Alex also 2 for 2, make it 3 for 3. Jumping on the first pitch. He takes an aggressive turn, but will hold with a 1-out single. So 3 for 3 with a stolen base and an RBI.
Alex just takes a nice easy swing at this pitch. Porcello leaves this pitch up a little bit, moving away from Alex. He's strong enough to reach out there and pull it back into right field for a base hit. So you can see right there, he was at the end of his swing, and that top hand came off early. So this is always, couldn't reach any further on that ball going down and away from him.
Billy drove in a run with a single last time up. Porcello struck him out in the first. And the single put an end to an 0 for 9. 0-1 with a slider. 1-1.
We talked about this last night. Alex, that the one area of his game that he needs to constantly improve on would probably be stealing bases. And, he has not a very good percentage. In the minor league, he stole over 20 bases in Double-A in 06. But there's just an art to it.
Alex is running, so no play at second base. Butler is out at first. So the runner does move up, and there are 2 down. Walked in the first inning, grounded into a force out in the third. Those were his first 2 career plate appearances against Rick Porcello. So with that data, we'll see how he does third time around. And he skies it to left field. Brendan Bosch makes the play, and that's the inning. At the end of 5-3 Detroit. Royals Baseball is brought to you by Thoroughbred Ford. Find the new Ford F-150 you're looking for at thoroughbredford.com. Game 2 between the Royals and the Tigers. Tigers winning last night 3-1, and they lead 5-3 tonight, playing tomorrow night and Sunday afternoon. Kyle Davies' first pitch is rolled to Escobar. 1 pitch, 1 away. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre with Frank White, Joel Goldberg, producer Kevin Shank, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, and the producer of Royals Live is Jeff Graham. 1 ball, 1 strike on Brandon Inge, who has an error tonight, which led to 2 unearned runs. He has popped out, grounded out, 0 for his last 12. And behind 1 and 2 against Kyle Davies. And now he strikes out, and Kyle Davies has 4. Calling all ladies. Join us here at Kauffman Stadium on July 23rd for Girls Night Out, presented by KC Chevy Dealers. The event will feature free massages, mini makeovers, dueling pianos from Howl at the Moon, and the first 10,000 ladies receive a special ladies powder blue KC cap Presented by KC Chevy Dealers. Proceeds benefit the American Heart Association. Former Wichita State Shocker Andy Dirks is 1 out of 3 with a run scored and an RBI tonight. Tigers with 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the third. And now Kyle Davies working on his 3rd straight scoreless inning. He dropped his arm down a little bit, 1-2.
Yeah, nice location and light and just a straight fastball, straight 4-seam fastball.
Just missed inside.
Whoa. You can see this ball starts inside, then it moves back toward the inside corner.
And pulled through the hole. So he doesn't get the call. Dirks gets another pitch and singles with 2 outs. 9 hits tonight for the Tigers in 5 2/3 innings. Brendan Bosch 0 for 3 against Davies tonight. Kyle now over 100 pitches. And a hitter with 12 home runs, 40 RBIs at the plate. The long innings being innings 2 and 3. 31 pitches in the third. And it's Blake Wood warming up behind Davies in the Royals left field bullpen. Maglio Ordonez comes up after Brendan Bosch, and he's been on base 3 times against Davies tonight. And Bosch off the end of the bat sounded like he broke his bat, and that is foul. 1-1. The greatest moments in Major League All-Star Game history are going head-to-head to determine which is the most memorable of all time. Go to MLB.com/moments and vote now for your favorite, and tune into the All-Star Game on Fox. That's coming up on Tuesday. Coverage begins at 7 o'clock, and you can find out who won. Two balls, 1 strike on Bosch.
You get a guy like Bosch who has a great first half of a season as he did in 2010, and he falls off in the second half of the season. You go into spring training not really knowing what you have going forward, and he really just took off the first half of this season and having a great season.
Dirks is gunned down by Brian Pena. So it is 3 straight scoreless innings for Kyle Davies.
inning, and our contestant is Danielle Windsor from Kansas City, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run this inning, Danielle will win $4,300. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Danielle will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
And Jeff Francoeur, the Royals' leading home run hitter, will lead off against Rick Porcello. The pitching has taken some control over the last 3 innings. It was all offense in the first 3. All 8 runs were scored in the first 3 innings. Francoeur a little bit out in front. 1 ball, 1 strike. He had a sac fly in the first inning, his 9th of the year. That leads the league. And sometimes you just can kind of stumble into a sacrifice fly. You're hoping for more, but oftentimes when you look at the leaders in both leagues in sacrifice flies, veteran hitters who know how to elevate the ball. The runner at third base in less than 2 outs. Francoeur 0 for 2 with that sac fly tonight.
I think you're right, Ryan. I think what the veteran guys can do is they can hit the borderline pitch up and the borderline pitch down and still get something out of it. And when you're going to drive in runs, you can't always wait for that perfect pitch to hit. A run producer will hit the borderline pitches.
Porcello goes about 91 pitches per start, and that's about where he is right now. And David Percy, a lefty, will be the Chevy call to the bullpen with Mike Moustakas coming up. Tigers making a pitching change with 1 out. Rick Porcello got Jeff Francoeur to ground out. And now David Percy with Mike Moustakas coming up. Percy pitched with Toronto last year. He was with the A's this season and came over in a trade about a month and a half ago in a deal that sent second baseman Scott Sizemore to Oakland. And then Sizemore started playing third base for the A's. So Jim Leland a little concerned with Rick Porcello's pitch count and facing Mike Moustakas. 0 for 2 tonight, and now 0 for his last 19. Popped up, and Avila goes to the dirt behind home plate, and there are 2 down.
I think Moose is just going through that transition period where you get up here and you're facing both good right-handers and good left-handed pitching, and just trying to make that adjustment. And Hosmer went through it for a little bit, and he's just going through the same thing. So the key thing here is that you still have to be aggressive at the plate and swing aggressively at the pitch, even though you may not hit it or may not have success, but you don't never want to lose the aggressiveness at the plate.
And you can understand his frustration. He's a year removed from 36 home runs and 124 RBIs.
I'm sure that he's expecting bigger things a lot faster than they've come so far. But when you get your pitching coach, your hitting coach, Kevin Seitzer, and you start making some changes, and it takes a little while before whatever they're working on sets in. And You just got to make sure that you don't let the frustration get involved with what you're trying to do, and that just slows the process down a little bit.
Those numbers are impressive by themselves, but then you remember a minor league season is 5 months. He did that in 5 months. The big league season is 6 months. So in the big leagues, if somebody hits 36 home runs and drives in 124, you go, wow. But then take 1 month away from the guy and then put up those numbers.
It makes a huge difference.
Right now, I'm sure he feels like he's a million miles away from that. Ryan Pena 0 for 2. Batting from the right side for the first time tonight. Hits it into a big crowd at Kauffman Stadium on a beautiful Friday night. It was warm today, not blazing hot like it can be in July. And now a breeze blowing in from the east has cooled things down, but a Friday night, Buck night, fireworks after the game. And Royals fans have come out to mostly fill up Kauffman Stadium tonight. 2-2.
Yeah, last weekend before the All-Star break, and a lot of times you get good crowds on that last weekend. There's going to be baseball. Baseball's going to be gone for 3 or 4 days, and so they look forward to making that last weekend a good one.
Still 2-2. Not many empty seats. Kauffman Stadium always beautiful, but always a little more attractive when it's filled up.
Oh, man.
Pena, left center field, long run Dirks, who has good speed. He got a good jump. And that's all for the Royals in the bottom of the 6th. Pepsi Max is the official soft drink of the Fox Sports Kansas City broadcast booth and is also a proud supporter of the Royals 5K, benefiting Variety Children's Charity. You can run or walk, and it all benefits Kansas City kids. Pepsi Max, 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. So it's Blake Wood in the 7th inning. Kyle Davies gives up 5 runs in 6 innings. So a Chevy call to the bullpen with Brennan Bosch, Maglio Ordonez, and Miguel Cabrera. Davies gave up all 5 of his runs in the first 3 and then finished with 3 scoreless. And the Royals' streak of so-called quality starts comes to an end at 4. Bosch was at the plate in the 6th inning when Andy Dirks was caught stealing by Brian Pena for the final out, so he gets a new count and faces a new pitcher and chases a slider down and in. 0-1. Bosch was 0 for 3 against Kyle Davies. One and one. Two balls, one strike. We were talking about Bosch before Dirks was caught stealing for the final out, and about a very good first half last year, not so good in the second half, so there will be a bit of a microscope on him to see if he can remedy that in this year's second half. He's 0 for 4 tonight, but going from 342 with 12 home runs in the first half last year to 163 with 2 home runs in the second half. Fans, you can take batting practice with Royals alumni at Kauffman Stadium on August 27th. Royals alumni batting practice includes a light breakfast, t-shirt and shorts, an autographed baseball, and 4 ticket vouchers for next year. To purchase your batting practice package, call 816-504-4150. 816-504-4150. 1-1 on Maglio Ordonez. Ordonez hit a 2-run home run in the first, giving the Tigers a 2-0 lead. Royals tied it in the bottom of the second. Detroit with 1 in the second and then 2 in the third for a 5-2 lead. Royals got a run back in the bottom of the third, and that's where we are right now. 5-3 Detroit in the 7th. 3-1.
A lot of good hitters struggling. Maglio, Brandon Inge on this ball club.
Nice short half play by Moustakas and picked on the other end by Hosmer.
So smooth. You know, with Eric Hosmer at first base, if you see Moustakas comes up and makes a good play scooping this ball, but with him at first base, you won't find any more competent guy at first base at the end of a throw. But Moustakas does a good job charging this ball, does a good job getting his feet set, but then he still threw the ball low. But that short hop, you want your first baseman to dig that ball out, and Eric just makes it look so easy.
So you can add Moustakas to the list of young players for the Royals this year that when they're not hitting, it's not affecting their defense.
Right. I tell you, when you got a guy like Hosmer at first base, you got a lot more confidence making that throw over there.
Very high, shallow right. Francoeur coming up, and it's Betemit going out from second base and making the catch. Good inning for Blake Wood. 5-3. It's a carsoup.com email the booth night, and with some of those emails, here's Joel.
All right, got a lot of emails in tonight, Ryan. Adam Wiederholt and Shawnese says, Frank, why did you pick number 20 to wear during your playing days?
Well, Joe, my first year I wore number 19, but I picked number 20 because Frank Robinson was my favorite player.
There you go.
That's succinct and to the point, isn't it?
That's all we need to know. Kevin McCardle says, my 6-year-old Ian watches every night. Capitals for every.
Well, hi, Ian.
Hi, Ian.
Hi, Ian.
Is it past his bedtime? That's the summer. He wants to know who will finish with the highest batting average for the season. What do you guys think?
Oh boy. I'm gonna stay with Alex. I think I'm gonna pick Gordon, I believe.
That's what Monty just yelled over here in the booth as well. Ryan?
Well, if you go with history, Billy's at 290 something right now, and I don't think we've seen the best of him yet this year, and he's right around a 300 career hitter, so he has the history. But gosh, I don't see anything that's going to slow down Alex Gordon, because if he's not driving the ball for extra base hits, he's getting his singles. So I'll go with Alex also.
Joel?
I'll go Billy. He's 10 points behind Gordon, and I will go with the history. I don't think, by the way, Alex will slow down, but I think that Billy will pick it up as well.
That's that chance. You're right about that.
Tough hop. And Inge eaten up by the hop, but able to bring it in and throw out Escobar, who is 0 for 3.
Dennis Rocher, Kansas City, Kansas, says, with the variety of uniforms, wide variety of uniforms, who decides which one will be worn when? There are a lot of uniforms nowadays, guys, and I know that the Royals will wear the powder blues at home on Sundays or for day games. They'll wear the darker blue on the road for day games, the grays otherwise on the road, the whites otherwise at home. Sometimes there's a little superstition involved too, isn't there?
That could be. I know in the minor leagues the starting pitcher decided which uniform top we'd wear, but I think they pretty much got it figured out on certain days what color they want to wear. I know as far as us in the booth, Ryan decides what color we wear.
That's not true.
That's only because you don't want to decide it, Frank.
Exactly.
I'm the rookie.
He's the third-year rookie, Ryan.
Here's how the conversation typically goes before we go home at night. So what color do you want to wear tomorrow? And I'll say, I don't know. You want to wear blue? And Frank will go, do you want to do blue? Well, yeah, but we can wear a different color if you want to. No, I'll wear blue. And Frank will go, okay, you sure you want to wear blue? Well, what color do you want to wear? I'll go with blue if you want to wear blue. It'll take us 5 minutes to sort that out before we leave the booth.
Yeah, I think you got to go with experience in that situation. I always defer to you.
No, but the point I just made, though, is you make me earn it.
Because you always come back with a question.
Stephen Young.
So you think I should just say, what color you want? And I say blue. That's it. Done. We're going with blue tomorrow. All right, I'll try that tonight. Okay. I'll try that tonight.
And anyway, we'll let you guys. Maybe you guys could break in on Boulevard Royals Live, and we'll bring in the live discussion of who's going to wear what tomorrow.
Who decides your color?
All right.
Who decides your color, Joel?
I do. That's it.
Okay.
Stephen Young in Derby, Kansas says, when was the last time the Royals had multiple players in the All-Star game, and who were the players? And that was 2003, Mike Sweeney and Mike McDougal. But we did have a trivia question on Real Royals Trivia today, asking about the players who had gone to the All-Star game as a Royal the most after George Brett. George Brett had the most, and then there were 3 players tied with 5 selections. You guys know who they were?
Frank.
Right.
Otis.
Yep.
Sweeney.
And Sweeney.
Enemy takes a 1-out walk, and the first Royal to reach against David Percy. What else do you have, Joel?
Well, This one was for Frank from Terry Ruth, Kansas City, Missouri, saying, Frank, is it hard to adjust to a reliever, say, going from Charlie Huff to Mitch Williams in your day? And I don't know if you went from Charlie Huff to Mitch Williams, but I think the point is going from one type of thrower to another type of thrower.
All I can say to that, Joel, is you face a knuckleballer, you got a chance to be in a slump for a few days. It is a big difference.
Now, I didn't experience this as a player, but as a broadcaster, I'll never forget 2006. The Royals opened the season here against the Tigers, who would eventually go on to the World Series. And in the old broadcast booth configuration, we had a sliding glass door in between the home radio and visiting radio booth. And Kenny Rogers started that game. It was mid-afternoon, shadows everywhere. He came out after throwing 82, 83, 84 miles an hour. And some guy named Joel Zamaya came in. And Denny slid the glass door open and asked Jim Price, the longtime radio voice of the Tigers, what does this guy throw? And Jim Price said, he throws 100 miles an hour. And we kind of went, yeah, right, you know, whatever. Well, he threw 100 miles an hour. So can you imagine dealing with tough shadows and going from Kenny Rogers, a soft-throwing lefty, to Joel Zamaya, a hard-throwing righty, and nobody had ever seen Zamaya before.
Wow.
Normally, it's not a good thing for the pitcher, and there's Jim Price, a former Tiger, and was one of their catchers in 1968 when they won the World Series. Normally, though, Frank, when the manager makes the first trip to the mound, that's usually not a good thing for the pitcher.
No, that's a challenge time at that point, and he's got a point he wants to make. It's something he sees that he's not happy with, and most times it goes with not throwing strikes.
Well, he retired the first three, got the final 2 outs of the 6th. Retired Escobar to begin this inning, then walked Bedamit. And now Melky left center field, and this will drop. Bedamit to third. He'll be waved home. It is a 1-run game. Melky Cabrera has his 3rd hit.
Melky's had a big night tonight. He got a base hit to right his first time up in the first inning, and then he came back with another base hit after stealing third base. It's a base hit to right field his second time up. And then he just, on the right side, he gets this double in the left center field to driving Wilson Bedamit. And you see Wilson right here making a turn at third and starting to get some action now.
So 3 hits, 2 runs scored, an RBI, a stolen base, and an outfield assist for Melky Cabrera. Pretty good night at the office. And he's 1 RBI away from 50. Trying to do that before the All-Star break. And now we get to a hitter who is 3 for 3. Alex with 3 singles, including an RBI, is 47. 1 ball, 1 strike, and we'll call Alex tonight's Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment.
Well, Ryan, you said Alex is going to be hard to slow him down. He's swinging the bat very well. He had a base hit and RBI his first time up, and he comes up again and gets another base hit to right field. And this is his 3rd base hit, another base hit to right field. And he also throwing a stolen base with that for him tonight, and he's having a very fine night too.
Didn't catch up to the fastball at 94 from David Percy. So Alex going from 295 to 301. He had been 1 for 11 against Rick Porcello. Remember, I said that just doesn't make sense.
Right.
But 3 for 3 tonight, and now trying to hang in there against Percy. And Percy strikes him out. And now Billy Butler, a right-hand batter, coming up. We'll see what Jim Leland does here, and he's going to make a change. one-run game with 2 outs in the 7th. Back to our Sprint U College question for tonight. The most unique way to come into the game. This is all over the past week. That's got to be the winner, right? In our Sprint U College question, 52% going with the Cirque du Soleil guy. Walter. His friends call him Wally. Royals getting their first look at Lester Oliveros. Right-hander coming up through the Tigers system. Signed out of Venezuela in 2005. Tying run at second base, 2 outs. Billy Butler 1 for 3 tonight with an RBI single. And grounds it deep short. Peralta keeps it on the infield. Long throw. Got him at first base. An outstanding play by Peralta, and the Tigers hang on to the lead. Watching, the Tigers lead by 1, and as we go to the 8th inning, we'll check out the American League thanks to Panera Bread. A rain out. That's got to be frustrating for the Yankees and their fans, with Derek Jeter 2 hits away from 3,000. This is good news for the rest of our division. Cleveland losing 11-7, so a chance for everybody to pick up a game. Boston beating Baltimore. The Orioles losing 11 of their last 12. Texas at home against Oakland. They lead 8-4. Minnesota in front of Chicago. Twins winning game 1 of that series last night. White Sox with a big inning. The Twins with a bigger inning. Tim Collins is the third Royals pitcher tonight. And in the 8th inning, he'll get Victor Martinez, Johnny Peralta, and Alex Avila. So he'll move a switch hitter over to the right side in Martinez. Then face a right-hand batter. And then get the left-hand hitting Avila. Kyle Davies went 6. He gave up 5 runs, all of that in the first 3 innings, and then finished with 3 scoreless innings. Blake Wood turned in a scoreless 7th. 1-1 on Martinez. Hitting .330 as a left-hand batter, .269 as a right-hand batter. And Tim Collins throwing him a changeup that got a lot of the plate, but Martinez wasn't ready for it. 1-2.
Yeah, with this motion, he disguises that changeup pretty well, and just like his curveball, when he gets a good feel for it and good touch on it, it really comes out off of over his left shoulder, and you don't pick it up right away.
And then very late on the fastball. And the curveball is stroked to left field, so it stayed up. And for Martinez, that puts an end to an 0 for 9.
Well, look at Tim Collins' delivery, and really kind of goes back to deception and how well he hides the ball. And you can see he's got his entire back to the hitter before he releases the ball. And his arm, he doesn't have a long arm swing, so you don't pick the ball up behind him. It just comes right out over the top of his shoulder, like almost like a short arm.
Down and into Johnny Peralta. Every time a leadoff man has reached tonight, he has come around to score. Good changeup. 1-1. Royals in the first and third innings had the leadoff man on, coming around to score. The Tigers in the first, second, and third innings trying to add on in the 8th inning after the Martinez base hit. And Collins is ahead, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, when the Tigers saw these young bullpen in the Royals early in the year, they came out throwing a lot of fastballs, and now as the year has gone on, they've all started to incorporate their secondary pitches a little bit more. And that's why Tim Collins' changeup has been so effective to this point.
Not a very good swing. Collins jumps high into the sky to bring it down. Well, maybe not high into the sky, but a good play and a force out at second base.
Very good play. Very good play to make this stop, and a very good play by Escobar to keep this throw alive at second base. So that's one of those things when you get this throw from a pitcher. Here's Tim Collins. He's on the mound. He uses the mound to get up. Great catch. Great balance. And this throw right here puts Escobar in an uncomfortable position with that runner coming down. So he did a great job making the catch and avoiding the runner. A sigh of relief.
Mm-hmm. And now lefty-lefty matchup. Alex Avila has been on base 3 times tonight. Got away from Pena. Peralta took a couple of steps towards second, but holds, and it's 1-0.
You take a look at this pitch here, and Brian Pena, his defense has gotten so much better behind the plate as the year's gone on, and got a little help from home plate umpire James Hoy on that ball when it bounced up, but he's just been doing a better job behind the plate of just blocking some tough ball. And that ball bounced so far out in front. Be lucky to just go right over his shoulder right away.
Two 2-0 on Avila. 2 walks and a single. The single put an end to an 0-for-11. He is facing Tim Collins for the first time. Two and one. Our AT&T trivia question for tonight: who are the 5 members of the American League's 3,000 hit club that only played for one team? Derek Jeter trying to become the 6th. I think I have 4. How about you?
Probably 3 with 1 question mark.
Well, George.
We got Robin Yount.
Okay, I got that one.
Cal Ripken.
I've got that one.
And I'm not sure about Eddie Murray, because I know he played some with the Dodgers.
It was not Eddie Murray.
Okay.
I've got Carl Yastrzemski. Did he have 3,000 hits?
Yes. Good call.
Right. So that's 4 out of the 5. By the way, if Derek Jeter accomplishes it, which he will, the Yankees were rained out tonight, so it won't happen tonight. No Yankee has ever had 3,000 hits. How about that? Of all the hitters they've had, and all the home run hitters they've had, there's no Yankee on that list.
They don't keep them around long enough. Yeah, you know, Wade Boggs had 3,000, but he didn't get it till he went to Tampa.
Right. And he played with the Yankees after leaving the Red Sox.
And Carew spent time with the Twins and the Angels.
I can name a National Leaguer just while we're killing time. Tony Gwynn.
Yes.
Oh, okay, we have a clue. He's in the house, or the team is in the house. Was it Ty Cobb? Or is it Nafi Perez? Oh, no, he played for.
I've got it. Okay. Al Kaline.
Oh. Pretty good. We had 4 of the first 5 pretty quickly. Long at bat. Alex Avila against Tim Collins. So here are the answers. 5 members of the 3,000 hit club that did it with 1 American League team.
A lot of hits.
Did Cal Ripken really have husky blue eyes like that? Right to Escobar. Betamete over to Hosmer for a double play. So it's a scoreless 8th inning for Tim Collins.
Boulevard Royals Live, Jeff Montgomery will be asked this question. What did you think of Kyle Davies' performance? We'll talk to him about that. Plus, Wilson Betemey, part of a double play. We just saw that as the second baseman. We will explain and talk about Chris Getz's first ever Major League Baseball ejection, highlights, reaction, and much more coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. Ryan?
All right, Joel, it's Phil Koch who got the final out of the 7th inning last night. He will get the 8th inning tonight. Phil Koch started the year in the Tigers rotation, and that lasted until the end of June. So back to the bullpen, and the Royals have some left-handed bats coming up. Eric Hosmer, Jeff Francoeur, and Mike Moustakas. Royals with 2 runs in the first inning, 1 in the third. Those runs against Rick Porcello, and 2 of those runs were unearned. And then the Royals got a run against David Percy in the 7th.
Well, Joe mentioned that was Chris Getz's first ever ejection. So I guess that's the most emotion that we've seen out of Chris. So he had to feel 100% that he was right on that call.
And it looked like he may have beaten the throw. I mean, but it was very close. And of course, that play looks a lot easier in super slow-mo. But trying to get back into the game, and gets playing hard as he always does, and figured he was safe. He and first base umpire Tom Hallion went at it. Doug Sisson tried to get in there, and Peel gets off of Hallion and keep him in the game. And even though he was able to successfully do that, Chris said the magic word or words after being peeled away, and Hallion threw him out of the game.
It's that word you yell over the shoulder.
Tom Hallion is the crew chief. We'll see him behind the plate tomorrow, and we'll get to enjoy his called third strike, his little dance behind the plate.
That's true. Jim Leland was saying when they were out playing the Angels, they had 4 ejections by Joe West's crew, Angel Hernandez, and they.
Boy, that's odd.
I think Joe West had 2 ejections, and Verlander got ejected. Porcello was ejected for saying something from the bench, and Jim Leland just feels like it's just too much animosity between the players and the umpires, and that something really needs to be done. Because I remember when I started playing, the umpires make a call, and you'd have to chase them down the line in order to get in front of them. They ran away from confrontation, but these guys are more confrontational.
You know, it is their job, and they're paid well to be major league umpires. I would think, though, it would be harder these days to be an umpire. There are more cameras in the ballpark.
Oh, yeah.
High definition. And so it is much easier to point out their mistakes than it was when you played.
I remember umpires were so in tune to the game. So I started a game. I started a game against Cleveland when Gaylord Perry was pitching, and had a couple successful at bats the first couple times up, and then I got knocked down the 3rd time, and I'm laying on the ground with that white chalk in my face, looking up at Hall of Fame umpire Nestor Chalak, and I'm looking for help. I'm just out of AAA. I don't know what's going on.
Rayburn backhands. That's all he can do. And it's an infield hit for Francoeur, which gives him a 7-game hitting streak.
So I'm looking up at Nestor for help, and Nestor looks down at me and says, "Welcome to the big league, bro."
So much for the help.
So much for the help, and Francoeur gets another base hit. Rayburn does a good job cutting it off, and no play at first base. But it just shows you how in tune they were to the game, and some of the processes that rookies go through in order to feel like you're part of this game at this point. So you get knocked down, you get challenged in a lot of different areas. Umpires call plays on you to see how upset they can make you, to set you up, get you kicked out first. If you want to get kicked out early, they do things like that. So you get tested pretty early by the other team and by the umpires.
Mike Moustakas was the one man that Phil Koch faced last night. Got him on a fly ball to center field. 1 ball, 1 strike. I would think Frank, that most major league players are fair with the umpires, but it's the ones that have a certain attitude that result in the ejections and get the players even more upset. I mean, I think most players understand that even in the heat of the moment that umpires are human and they're going to miss some calls. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Moustakas.
Well, it's a transition. In the minor leagues, when I was managing down there, they were like, real confrontational because they didn't want the player to say anything. They didn't want the manager to say anything. But when you make that transition from the minor leagues to the major leagues, there's a certain adjustment that you have to make. You can't bring the minor league mentality into the pro game because the game is a little bit different. It's more stressful on the players, and there's just more at stake at this level.
Mike Moustakas 0 for 4 tonight, and now 0 for his last 21. So Francoeur at first base with 2 outs. And it'll be Brian Pena batting from the right side, as he did in the 6th inning, and lined out to center field on a fine play by Andy Dirks. As a left-hand batter, Pena is 0 for 2. One ball, no strikes. Brian hasn't seen a lot of Phil Coke. 3 plate appearances. And he's 1 for 2 with a double and a walk. Two balls, no strikes. MLB.com's At Bat 11 app for Android, BlackBerry, and Samsung Galaxy Tab is live baseball. Follow the Royals wherever you are with game day pitch-by-pitch tracking. Plus, get in-progress box scores and stats, breaking news, searchable video highlights, game day audio. Text At Bat to 31826 or visit Royals.com for details. If the Royals take the lead, Joaquin Soria getting ready for the 9th inning. Francoeur takes off, and Avila throws him out. So Pena will lead off the bottom of the 9th. It is still 5-4 Detroit. Over the past 2 weeks, Let's take a look at tonight's Chevrolet play of the game.
This is usually there's a guy protecting the lady, but here the lady protects the guy. Makes a great catch. A great one-handed catch.
The thing I don't understand is the fella sitting next to her, and maybe we can get a look at that again. I mean, where's the love for that great effort there? I mean, I don't know. That might be her brother. It might just be some guy who happens to be sitting next to her. But instead of standing up and enjoying the moment with her and clapping for her, he turns and says something to the row behind him so to make some excuse of why he didn't get out of his chair and make the catch. I mean,
there you go.
Come on. Let's go. See, watch. There's the great catch. Leaping one-handed. Now, the guy in the white shirt, look at, yeah, whatever. Come on, give her a hug. But he turns to the back row and says something.
She just saved your life.
Yeah, I mean, now watch. Yeah, whatever. She thinks that's a great catch. Big deal. Who cares? I'd have made that catch with my eyes closed. Everybody's giving her a high five except for the guy she's sitting with.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, this is her moment.
Yes, it is. I have to say, that's the first one-handed female catch that I've seen.
She's got to hug him. You know what she's saying? This was a great first date. Thanks a lot. It was nice knowing you. Ryan Rayburn has his second hit. Leadoff single for Victor Martinez in the 8th inning. The Tigers did not turn that into a run as Tim Collins got Avila to ground into a double play. And now Rayburn on to begin the 9th.
Well, Brandon Anja, he doesn't bunt too much, but the way he's swinging the bat, I wouldn't be surprised if Jim Leland had him bunt.
And he gets it down. You can hear Brian Pena yelling 1-1-1, meaning going to first. So Inge, who is 0 for his last 13, he has an error tonight, which has led to 2 unearned runs. His contribution tonight is to get Rayburn up to second base. And the Tigers trying to do tonight what they did last night, and that is score a run in the 9th inning, giving Jose Valverde 2 runs to work with in the bottom of the 9th. And now Andy Dirks, former Wichita State Shocker, has had a good game on defense, a good game at the plate. 2 hits, an RBI, a run scored. Drafted in 2008. Signed by former Wichita State Shocker Chris Wimmer, whom I played against, and he was a stud. Those guys could all run. They all could play defense. They played on that turf.
Yeah, they had turf up there.
Man.
Yeah.
Wimmer was going to give you about 80 or 90 hits a year, steal about 40 bags. He was some player. 2 balls, 1 strike. Jose Valverde getting ready for the bottom of the 9th inning. And as he warms up, practicing his game-ending pirouette. Hosmer to the hole, gets a glove on it, but Collins was not off the mound in time. Don't know if they would have gotten Dirks, who runs well, but there was no play at first base.
Well, you got to at least get over there. Once that ball goes to the right side, you got to hustle over there. And that was one of the rare times that you see 2 players dive for the same ball. You know, Hosmer dove, and at the same time, Wilson Bettamy dove behind him. You can see right there, you don't have Collins in the picture yet, and Hosmer's ready to throw. So, nice play. I mean, you don't see that too often where two guys dive for the same ball.
Now, is that a dive, Frank? Or no, I'm serious. Is that a dive, or is that more of just a stumble, losing his balance?
I'm going to call it a dive tonight.
Okay, that's great. Just like I said, Billy Butler took out Johnny Peralta at second base with a slide earlier in the game. Chance for two, out at second, and no double play, and the Tigers do get that extra run in the 9th inning, so it is 6-4. And Brennan Bosch is 0 for 5 tonight, but that was a productive out. He drives in his 41st run of the year.
Well, you just kind of go back to the play at first base, kind of set that up right there, Ryan. And, you know, that was an awful tough double play to turn. And Dirks got down there on top of Escobar, and he couldn't get the throw off. So it's just one of those situations where the little fundamental things right now are coming into play.
So Austin Jackson out with the sore left wrist, came out of the game early last night. And the Tigers saying that we may not see him again before the All-Star break, and maybe what they mean is he won't hit again before the All-Star break. But now they have his speed at first base, and they'll have his glove for the bottom of the 9th in center. So Casper Wells bats for the first time in the 7th inning. He replaced Maglio Ordonez in right field.
Jackson has 15 stolen bases, caught 3 times. But every move that Tim Collins makes, he's making a step back toward first base. So, you know, normally when I would face left-handed pitching and I didn't get a good read on him, I would shorten my lead and not draw any attention to myself and then go first move.
Two balls, 1 strike. So Wells has given Jackson 3 pitches to get a look at Collins' move. Casper Wells last night started in left field, but then he moved to center when Jackson came out early and was 1 for 4 with a double. Shallow left, and it's Alex Gordon to make the play. So the Tigers get a run, and they lead by 2, and now it's showtime in the bottom of the 9th. Center field. Andy Dirks was in center, and he moves over to left. And on the mound is Jose Valverde, who saved his 22nd game last night, so he's perfect this year. That's the 2nd longest streak this season in the major leagues. Joel Hanrahan has saved 27 in a row for the Pirates. Now, if you're looking for evidence that tonight may be the night that Valverde's streak comes to an end. If you go back to last year, Valverde has converted 24 in a row. Earlier last year, Valverde had a separate 24 consecutive save streak. And which team broke that up? The Royals. August the 25th. Ryan Pena, Alcides Escobar, Wilson Betemit coming up in the bottom of the ninth. Ryan 0 for 3. He was at the plate when Frank Coeur was caught stealing for the final out in the 8th. So he goes back over to the left side. Ball one from Valverde. The Royals made Valverde and the Tigers sweat it out. And now Valverde, the Tigers, a bit concerned. They come out of the dugout, their trainer and manager, but apparently he just wants to have the lenses of his glasses wiped off. But in a 2-run game last night with 2 outs and nobody on, Eric Hosmer walked. Jeff Francoeur reached with an infield single. And then Francoeur stole second, so the Royals had the tying run in scoring position with 2 outs, but Valverde was able to get Mike Moustakas on a fly ball to left field. Tigers are 3 outs away from being just a half game back of Cleveland in the Central. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mentioned earlier, the Tigers have the best record of all American League Central teams against the division. In fact, they have the best record against their division in all of baseball. 16-7 after beating the Royals last night. Pena lines it to left field. So a good start in the ninth. And that's Pena's first hit tonight.
Well, Brian does a good job of staying with his fastball going the other way, but he also has a way of getting rid of the bat after the base hit.
Take that, Valverde.
I mean, he stays right through this pitch, does a great job, and how you figure this one out, I have no idea. This one that could come down and hit you in the head if you're not careful. But a good piece of hitting right here by Brian Pena. That's a question for tomorrow.
And Escobar cracks his bat and fouls it away. Tomorrow's a 6:10 game. Luke Hochevar will be facing rookie Charlie Furbush. The lefty, the Royals haven't faced him yet. Hy-Vee Royals Live with Joel and Monty begins at 5:30. Royals tomorrow celebrating 100 years of Buck O'Neil, and the first 20,000 fans will get a Buck O'Neil Monarchs pennant. One ball, 1 strike. Rick Porcello, 5 in the 3rd innings, gave up 3 runs. David Percy gave up a run in an inning and a 3rd. Lester Oliveros, 1/3 scoreless. Phil Koch, a scoreless 8. So this is the 5th Tigers pitcher tonight.
And one thing Alcides wants to do here is just wants to make sure he gets a strike to hit. The first pitch was up and in and broke his bat. Just make sure Valverde throws him a strike, because the Royals need base runners, so you don't want to chase any pitches out of the zone. Two and two.
We told you last night that if you look at what the Tigers do or have done all season with their bullpen. They have the second highest ERA in the American League. So on one hand, you think Jim Leyland's bullpen has let him down this year. But in situations like this, his bullpen has been very good. The Tigers have not given up a lead all season that they've had after the 7th inning.
That's incredible.
Grounded to short. Peralta. They'll get the out at second base. No double play. So that keeps the potential tying run at the plate.
And you see Peralta makes a nice feed over here to Rayburn, but you see Brian Pena, the raw base runner, really turning it up and being aggressive on trying to break up those double plays. So he got in the picture and forced a poor throw to first base, but that's about would have beat it regardless.
And now Wilson Betemit batted for the first time in the 7th inning. Walked with 1 out and came around to score. And he was going for it all.
Nothing to
say
hold
the
back.
least.
Nothing to wait on.
Chris Getz was ejected after arguing a play at first after he had grounded out to short. It looked like he was safe, just barely. Tom Hallion, the first base umpire, threw him out. Betemit took over at second base in the 5th. A little bit outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And we take a look at it here, Ryan. I mean, what a close play that is. And that's probably the most emotion that Chris Getz has shown all year. That's the first time that Doug Sisson has left the coaching box to go out and argue a call at first base. So you had 2 guys thinking that the call was in their favor and went the other way.
One ball, 2 strikes. You know, getting another look at that replay, and we can assume that Chris said something that is a no-no to an umpire, but I wonder if the pointing of the finger wasn't something that was the tipping point for Tom Hallion.
Well, usually something comes with that point. We just don't know. We just don't know what he said.
The point doesn't come with the mute button on. Is that what you're saying?
No mute button with that one.
2-2 on Betemit. And trying to read Tom Hallion's lips right before he threw out Chris Getz and right before pointing. Does it look like he says that's enough? Yeah, that's enough. So there's the warning. Two balls, 2 strikes. Boy, that pitch just floated out over the plate at 86 miles an hour. So Valverde got away with one. If you're hoping for a home run to tie the game, Valverde has allowed 3 home runs in 38 1/3 innings. The Royals have just 1 extra base hit tonight. They had only 1 extra base hit last night. Prior to that, the Royals had 24 extra base hits in their previous 6 games. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Jim Leyland gesturing to somebody. He is gesturing to Miguel Cabrera to play behind Alcides Escobar. So the Tigers will allow Escobar to run here. Jim Leyland wants a little extra range on the right side of the infield and allowing Cabrera to back up. Escobar does not run, and it's fouled away.
Well, the only danger by running with 1 out is if Wilson Bedemy hits a line drive, then the game is over. So you usually wait till 2 outs before you want to send that runner down to second base.
Got him with a fastball at 95 and maybe out of the strike zone. 2 down. And now Valverde gets Melky Cabrera, who has a 3-hit game, and he's gotten his average up to 291. Melky did not face Valverde last night, and he's only seen him twice. 0 for 1 with a walk. Royals have 9 hits, and 6 of those hits coming from their 2 and 3 hitters, Melky Cabrera and Alex Gordon. Now Escobar runs, as Frank said, with 2 outs, and the Tigers will give him second base. No stolen base. Defensive indifference. Defensive, we don't care.
We don't care.
Melky now with 109 hits for the Royals. Two and 0. So Melky with 3 hits, Alex Gordon with 3 hits, Billy Butler 1 hit, Jeff Francoeur with a hit, and Brian Pena. Three and 0. So Valverde 1 pitch away from put the tying run at first, bringing the winning run to the plate. And that winning run, potential winning run, Alex Gordon already has 3 hits tonight. Three and 1. Tigers scored 5 of their 6 runs in the first 3 innings. Then they didn't score for 5 innings, and like they did last night, added on an insurance run in the 9th. Ball 4, 2 on, 2 out.
Kind of a similar situation for Valverde tonight as he had last night. He got the first couple of outs, and then last night he got the first 2 outs. There was a walk and a hit. Then he retired the 3rd hitter, and then same in this inning. He gets the first couple of outs, and there he goes with 2 men on base again.
You know, as I'm watching Valverde, it kind of brings back some memories. Nothing specific, but I'm thinking that most of his saves against the Royals have been like this. Not a 1-2-3, visits to the mound. And if you pitch with the type of emotion that he does when he celebrates after outs, and especially after the final out, that at times those emotions can get the best of you, and a lot of trips just to make sure that he is calmed down.
Yeah, I agree with that, Ronald. Alex Gordon has had a great night tonight, and just had 3 base hits. Got him a stolen base, and he just done a good job with the bat. The Royals are looking for a base hit right now out of Alex Gordon, but so far he's swinging the bat really well tonight with 3 base hits, stolen base.
And now a .301 batting average. He is 1 for 3 against Jose Valverde. That one hit was a single. Valverde has struck him out once. And that's the best pitch that Valverde has thrown tonight. Alex faced Valverde last night. That was leading off the ninth, and he grounded out to second base. Oh, and 2. Avila wanted the pitch up. He was giving Valverde a very high target, and he gave him a very late high target. Didn't want to give it away too soon and allow Escobar to maybe relay the information to Gordon.
Well, everything's late with catchers in this situation with a runner on second base. They want to set up late and do everything at the very last minute.
Still 1 and 2.
You can keep an eye on Avila, and you can see how late he does get to where he wants to be. He gives his sign, and just right at the last minute, that's when he moves. So he moved inside, and the ball ran back out over the plate. But he's gonna sit where he wants to sit, and at the very last minute, he's gonna jump inside like he did with that pitch right there. So catchers are taught to do that so they don't give away location.
And Avila doing the opposite now, pointing the glove down to the dirt, palm down, emphasizing he wanted the pitch, if anything, low. So it's 2 balls, 2 strikes, and now a huge crowd begins to stand as one. The Royals have been trying to play catch up all night. They have been down 2-0, 3-2, 5-2, 5-3. Got the game to 5-4 in the 7th, and then the Tigers just got a run in the top of the 9th. Just inside. So a full count, and now the added advantage of the runners going on 3 and 2. And Jim Leyland has to sweat out the final out again, as he did last night.
Yes, he does, and Valverde's taking this as far as he can take it, and it's 3-2. Allison looked for a fastball here. If he gets anything but a fastball, he would be shocked. So he just got to be ready to make it be a good pitch and put a good swing on it.
Runners go. Bases loaded, 2 down.
It's nice to get a crowd excited.
Billy drove in a run in the 3rd inning with a single. So for the 2nd straight night, the Royals, with 2 outs, have the tying run at second base. But tonight, they have the potential winning run at first. Valverde struck out Butler last night for the 2nd out. The Royals mounted their rally with 2 outs and nobody on base. Fastball a little bit outside. Billy 1 for 5 with 4 strikeouts and a walk against Valverde. He has a walk-off hit this year.
walk-off home run back in July against the Angels. And June 1st against the Angels.
And a home run that got stuck above the wall in left center field, so the umpires had to take a look at it. Then the celebration at home plate, and then the pie
in the eye.
Yeah, some on the face, mostly on the shoulder. Well, you really get the feeling that Valverde is not confident with his stuff at all tonight. He is taking forever in between pitches.
Well, he's been all over the strike zone, too, when he gets to borderline when they're not called, and that kind of upsets him, too.
And Billy into right field, but it's right at Wells. So all that drama again. Valverde dances on the mound. And for the second straight night, the Royals had everything put into place, but couldn't come through with the big